What's up, everyone, and welcome to the still unnamed show where I go live every week and talk about a bunch of topics actually XR, AI, entrepreneurship, how to combine those things together, my journey, my experiences, and everything in between. And today's sessions is going to be about an never ending story. XR is dead, VR is dead, we are all screwed and we all wasted 10 plus years of our lives, etc., etc. Every January, February, I think that's always the same thing. But I'm here to tell you that there are a bunch of very strong reasons why this just is not the case, actually. And yeah, I want to kind of like bust some myth about this topic because again, that is just like something that is never gonna change. It's always the same. But that is definitely something where I think if you kind of understand it from the right perspective, can be very helpful. We are doing this on a Sunday afternoon very spontaneously, so I have no idea if anybody's actually listening. Maybe I'm actually just all alone by myself. That's also fine. I mean, I don't have a problem talking to myself. I've been doing this for 10 plus years now, just speaking to this camera. But if you're here, be kind, say hi, where you're from. If you have any questions, of course, happy to answer those. That's the benefit of joining live because you can actually directly interact with me. I'm happy to showcase you, show all of your amazing questions, and really help you out in any of those situations, also, of course. So if you are around, if you are joining online, let me just open up the chat. Then looking forward to the next, I don't know, 30-ish minutes. We'll have a fantastic time. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you will learn something in this chat. So let me roll the opening. I mean, I will just talk it, but still let me go about the opening. And then, as always, in the end, if you have any questions, happy to do a quick Q&A session and do some couple of announcements, etc., etc. We have heard XR is dead every January for 10 plus years now, which is fine, I guess. Like you just get used to that. But this year is kind of different, honestly, because this year it's not just the outside, it's also the inside. A lot of people in our community, a bunch of XR veterans, people who have been in virtual augmented reality for many years now, are also getting doubt, which is very understandable. I mean, there's like so many things just coming at once, with Meta laying off 1,500 people, um, and just like massive budget cuts. And the big issue that, of course, a lot of studios are shutting down, a lot of companies are shutting down, a lot of companies very kind of like on dead or life situation at the moment, because most of them are just like very reliant on Meta. And I think that just like makes a very difficult picture right now. And honestly, I think if we don't address it now and fix it from the inside, this can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy by then actually kind of like destroying the industry. And I think that is really something where I want to shine some optimism, some objective light as well, and kind of like also switch the paradigm and kind of like show you a different perspective and maybe also some like objective truth and some objective reality in why XR is not dead, why XR is not dying, why we are actually on a pretty good path despite all of these obstacles, and why many of those things are completely normal. So after this video, you will have a very good understanding of where you are right now, how to make the most out of situation. Because again, if everybody's giving up and you're just staying strong, you will win significantly higher than anybody else. And I think that is right now the interesting opportunity, the massive arbitrage that there is right now by you sticking to the community, honestly. I don't make money by you staying here. So I think that is like not that I have a bias on that side or something like this, but that's just like how we have been operating. And if you do this, I promise you, you will come out very strong after this video, because you will have a different mindset shift. You will have much more optimism about it and also kind of like see it from a different reality. Let me actually just introduce now between each of these sections to just like they drink a sip of water because my throat is always dying afterwards. But again, since this is live, of course, I can be more authentic and more real. In a YouTube video, you will not see this, but I think that's maybe the benefit of doing live video. You can actually be more human, actually. All right, first section. Again, we hear it every single year. VR is dead. But what the hell does this even mean? I mean, like, it's not like a freaking biological body that dies and kind of like disseminates and then just like gets um, in the ground and all of that kind of stuff. So how can die something that is not even like a physical biological entity? And I think the dangerous problem is now um, it's very contagious. Again, like everybody talks about it. VR is dead. VR is dead, and then people from the inside are also losing hope about it. Founders, builders, developers, investors. And I think the big problem is actually defining what does that even mean? What is failure? What is success? And I think that is a very, very critical point actually. Because if it's like about everyone living in the metaverse or replacing exciting devices with a phone and having like 7 billion headsets sold, then yeah, it's probably a failure because we don't probably never will be in that situation. Um, and I think also that's not really the point of us permanently living in this freaking world and everything. I think that is like not what defines failure and success. So I think XR isn't that. It's just a definition mismatch of what does that or failure and success even mean. And I think this is really being distorted by a lot of course, greed and ignorance, but also just fake marketing and all of that type of stuff. So if you kind of like see it from a third perspective, kind of like zooming out and be like, okay, what is actually going on? We haven't sold 7 billion devices, but does it mean it's a failure? I personally don't think so. I think like there's a ton of value in this technology. And the cool thing is you probably know this because you are maybe in the field for a bunch of years. And that kind of shift, okay, what does it even mean to be a success or not, is like very, very important. Again, I personally see it growing and growing and growing, seeing amazing use cases, seeing the tech is getting better, seeing more people coming. And I see immersive technologies, again, any term, XR, AR, VR, whatever you want to call this, as a tool, a very powerful tool, but not a replacement of life or not a replacement of everything that we do, basically. We don't need to have a digital twin metaverse version of every normal human activity. And I think that is really important. And I guess you probably agree on that side. So we talked about kind of like really what failure and success even mean, and not having sold 7 billion devices does not mean it's a failure, and also Meta reducing some of its budget, not everything. They're not like pulling out completely. It doesn't also mean it's a failure. So let me show you what I mean exactly by one very, very important thing that is completely ignored by 99% of people, but I see it very clearly actually. This is something that is this is something that we talk about a lot, and we internally as a company, it has been our slogan, I think in 2024 for XRCC, which is that XR is not just games and big screens. It is much, much more than games and big screens. There's a massive ocean of untapped potential in front of us. And I think here the answer to this is that enterprise opportunities are still completely underestimated and not being kind of like thought of for real. And I've been working in the XR industry for 10 plus years now, fortunately, in a bunch of industries. I started in healthcare, medical XR. We use it in automotion, education, entertainment, automotive, aviation, interior design, real estate, travel. I haven't applied it to all of those, but these are like many of these use cases. Many of our sponsors are from those industries also. And there's like basically every vertical you can imagine, you could use this technology. And this technology can provide a massive amount of value. I mean, there are these cases already. The Lufthansa Allegris seat case, for example, where they, instead of like bringing the seat to every conference, to every fair, to just like show it virtually in mixed reality, basically, and placing the people there when it wasn't even ready fully yet, saved them like hundreds of millions. I don't know the exact number, so maybe million, maybe just millions, maybe not hundreds of millions, but I don't know for sure. Or with automotive, Cupra, for example, before they had um, a new car model, before it wasn't physically available, they had people sitting in a virtual model of the car and then already doing pre-sales and everything. And now they work hand in hand together with the car dealership. I think there's like so many interesting use cases that you can deploy to those industries, that if you understand that, hey, CXR is a tool for solving a freaking problem, and not I live my entire existence in this fucking thing, that is so much more freaking valuable than the mainstream kind of way, to be honest. And I mean, of course, that comes with like a bunch of the marketing that Meta did, and I guess a bunch of other companies also, that they often don't show these very boring, sometimes at least, sometimes these very boring enterprise use cases. I mean, there's like some talks I have seen where they basically just have a holographic layer of like a physical metal bar, like I don't know, like a 10 by 2 by 10 meter long metal bar, and they just need to do like quality check. And instead of like doing everything by the book, like by running with a PDF or something like this, they just put on, I guess it was the HoloLens or some other device, and then just map the CAD data on top of the actual thing. And if there's a mismatch, then they know, okay, something is wrong. Like just a stupid, simple thing, saving them like hundreds of thousands and maybe millions of dollars. I think that is like the interesting stuff, where you're like, okay, let's do one simple thing with this, see how it can help, and then just take massive advantage on that side. Again, VR training is like a whole different story. That's just like the single best use case anyways also. And again, see how you can apply this and think about that. Maybe find partners in that industry. I don't want to go too long on this section. I talked a lot about this already, but you really see that this is a huge untapped opportunity. Also, I have a bunch of XR videos on my YouTube channel, so feel free to check them out. And we at XRCC, we are actually the intersection of tech companies, these large XR tech companies, our community. You guys are amazing. You guys are the best. And our enterprise companies, our enterprise partners, bringing all of those together. So we have seen so many of these cases already being deployed, and me, of course, being in touch with those. I think that is just a no-brainer to see. I mean, there's like stuff I'm not allowed to talk about, like big 10-year vision plans and everything, and they're going strong in that direction. And these are like, if you combine all of those industries, it's in the trillions of investment and savings and opportunities and all of that above. Oh yeah, my little break here. So guys, let me know what you think so far in between of these sections, and also feel free to give me any feedback, any critique. XR's very alive in healthcare, 100% agree. It's very interesting. I mean, there's so many interesting cases. I've been to many XR healthcare, or not many, but like to one a bunch of times. I think there's like incredible use cases actually. So yeah, for sure. It's also very cool to see that there's a bunch of people also joining the stream. Very nice. Great meeting with MIT Reality Hack. Yes, man, very nice meeting you. Thank you so much. Cool. So section 3. This is also something that is just part of the game, and we have to accept it, to be honest. Do you remember 2020 when everybody suddenly was a certified metaverse expert, and they're just selling stupid metaverse shit to every single company, basically? Or before that, those same people were the crypto experts, and then NFT. Of course, now they are like the AI experts, and then in half a year they're the agentic experts or some shit like that. So I think that type of person is really hurting our and any other industry, to be honest, because it's a pure definition of like just like greed and short-term thinking and just like exploiting as much as possible. Because in those metaverse cases, 95% of them were like complete garbage, of course, like makes no fucking sense. But they just like take that so far and so aggressive and sell it to those companies who then lose trust. And I know this because many of my bigger partners told me exactly those type of things. There's actually a name for this. They're called grifters. I had no idea, but apparently those type of people, they are called grifters, which basically is that they exploit the hype, they exploit the shit out of hype and human greed, and just create so much FOMO in those type of things. We see this right now so clearly with AI, and I think for us in any industry, to be honest, especially in tech, of course, just like accepting the craziness, these hype cycles of these mega bubbles. I mean, just because AI is like overblown bubble and people are like investing money like crazy and just like going insane about it, does not mean it's useless, or it does not mean that it's like fake, or I don't know what the hell it is. It's so interesting right now. Like we see this so clearly with AI, that it is so polarizing. People hate on it so much. It's already cool to hate it, just because the other side is so extreme on that side. So I think you want to be kind of like stoic in those type of things. Kind of just be like, remove all of the noise and be like, okay, is this useful? Is this not useful? Does it align with my interest or my business goals? And not because it's a fucking hype, you have to jump on it, otherwise you lose money or some shit like that. Like I couldn't care less when we had the crypto times and the NFT times and some other kind of things. And the metaverse, honestly, I was not too much involved in that. So I couldn't care less about those type of things, because personally I was like, yeah, fuck that. I don't really care. I didn't try to buy these freaking, what was it, bored ape monkeys or something something like this. Um, Whereas now with AI, I think, to me personally, it makes a lot of sense. It is overhyped, of course it is, same as every new technology, but figuring out the fundamental truth about it, like we are actually 10x 50x leveraging our company by using AI a ton in our for our events, for our content, for everything. And I can talk about this if you guys want, of course. Happy to leave me a comment below if you want me to talk about how we became 100x by leveraging AI. And it's not an overblown statement. I mean, again, like XRCC, the last one, this was roughly 4,000 people being involved in this, 3,500 participants, hundreds of mentors and judges and partners and media partners and education partners, and I don't know what the hell else we had. Every single one of them had to be taken care of individually. So for every single group, we even called them by the name and everything. We told everybody what type of post. We created thousands of posts. All of this with a very small team of like 4 or 5 people at the core of running this hackathon. So I can very confidently say that we are actually now consulting some of the world's biggest conferences on how to like more efficiently run those conferences, which is kind of funny, maybe an interesting side model. But just to come back to the point, despite AI being overhyped and everything, and like being like, oh yeah, 95% of AI cases don't make ROI, blah blah blah. Maybe we are the 0.1% because we made like 1,000x ROI on that. Again, let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about it, because I think that is pretty interesting what is coming there. So yeah, to really kind of like come full circle on this one, hype cycles, acknowledge those, be stoic about them, try not to get sucked into FOMO. It's difficult, I know. It's also hard for me. Don't get stuck into shiny object syndrome, because it happens with XR too a lot. And like think about these ups and downs just as part of the game. And we are now in a slowdown of XR. And that is exactly what is going to happen with AI probably soon. I don't want to pretend I'm like a fortune teller, but with AI, it's the same. People will like have this, what is it, the slope of disappointment or something like this. So I think that is like something that if you have the awareness, it helps you mentally a lot to be kind of like aware, like, okay, these are just like stupid random cycles that don't make any sense anyways. Another, or no, before I go to the next one, first of all, let me know what you guys think about everything, and if you have any questions or any topic that you want to see. Olaf, hey man, what's up? I expect that upcoming powerful smart glasses will boost. Yes, 100%. And this is exactly what I will be talking about also very soon. This is actually the theme of our of something that we are cooking right now. Some big stuff we are planning. Really combining smart glasses with XR. I think that is like such an interesting combination, to be honest. So yeah, very very good point. 100% agree. Ah, thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm so nerding out about these details. This will definitely be maybe the next live stream when I can talk about this, kind of like behind the scenes of us really showing our crazy systems, AI systems, and automations. Of course, it's never AI alone, but there's like a lot of cool things that you can do there. All right. So, what the hell? Oh, yeah, there we go. So another, I think this is a smaller section, but I think that is kind of like unique for XR. And for this one, I would really love to hear your thoughts. I mean, we have like, I don't know, 20 people maybe in the stream right now. I would honestly love to hear if it's just me who is like overly obsessed about it and annoyed by it, or if it's like a general thing that you also feel. Um, because the thing is like new tech stuff is constantly changing, new things are being invented, other things are being deprecated, and it's easy for like NFT, AI, crypto, and robotics. But for XR there's like one, I think, unique problem I haven't seen for other technologies yet, and it annoys me since freaking 2018. Every single product I launch is kind of a pain in the ass, and every time I come across this, it feels that other people have the same problem. And this is that we don't have clear terminology since the beginning. I mean, XR, like if you go to any person outside of our freaking bubble, asking them XR, they're like, "What? Do you mean the iPhone XR?" Like otherwise, you don't. Nobody knows XR outside of our little nerd circle. Same with the other kind of terminologies. They are like so confusing sometimes. We're like, of course, VR, AR, MR, XR, metaverse, spatial computing with freaking Apple. I go with immersive technologies, but then we have also now the whole AI glasses, XR glasses, AR glasses, spatial AI, and just like so many more terms. And nobody outside our industries knows what the fuck we're talking about. But even inside of our industry, to be honest, like even here, like how do we exactly name those type of things? I think that is like one thing that is kind of annoying because there's like a lot of blending together, so much changing. Like for example, every VR glass is now kind of also AR, especially because they have the capability to just like become transparent and show the real world and everything. Most of the AR glasses, if they are like good, let's say back in the HoloLens, if they are like on um, full brightness and everything, you kind of have some sort of VR as well. So they're like so much blending together and like shifting and changing. And I think the other problem is that companies are trying to own the terms and words, and then the whole metaverse stuff was even more confusing because now people think that Meta is the metaverse, which is not true. Definitely not true. They think VR is equal to metaverse, which also makes no sense. They think VR is equivalent to XR, and all of those technologies are living in virtual worlds, which is also not true. So there's like so much confusion, uh, which kind of is a pain in the ass. At least for me, like just observing this all the time. Again, I would love to hear if you guys feel the same or if it's just me rambling about it. To be honest. And that is also because, that is also why things like the failure of Horizon Worlds feels like, at least in the outside for sure, feels like a failure of the entire industry. But it's just one stupid application that just got like way too much money, but still one stupid application that is now kind of like representative of the entire industry, which couldn't be further from the truth. So there's like so much myth to be busted that I think that is something that is just creating an illusion of failure, which I don't really see. Cool. Now the last two spicy topics. I mean, they're not really spicy, but they're not really tech XR related, but I love talking about them because I think that is like something that is also so often underestimated and kind of underlooked actually. And I feel this is more important than anything XR or AI or nice technology, because if you don't know this one, it doesn't really matter whether like the situation is overall good or bad, if Meta's investing or Meta's putting money out, or other companies are doing this. It doesn't really matter if you don't know this type of mindset, honestly. And that is, again, far more important than all of the technical things, all of that type of stuff, which is understanding business fundamentals, much more above tech hype. And I think that is so important. I can talk from experience. I mean, I run a business since 8 years now. I think 8 years. Since 2018, yes, 8 years. And you must, I mean, unless, of course, you don't want to do anything entrepreneurial, you don't want to build your own thing, your own startup company, whatever that is, or you don't want to lead a department. If you just want to code then or build something, then it's totally fine. But if you actually want to kind of like do your own thing and like bring something out to the world, or like a product or service, then these type of things are incredibly more important, actually. Learn the first principles, the foundation of sales, marketing, product development, operations, everything that you need to actually run any type of company. um, so there's like such a big overlap of things that you must know and must understand when running any business. I've heard this firsthand myself 15 plus years ago, and I see this everybody doing the same mistake, which is like, hey, I built this cool app. Maybe I won a hackathon. Maybe I won a trophy, I think, somewhere over there. It must be amazing. It's so much fun, this game, blah, blah, blah. You launch it to the store, nothing happens. Happens the same with every single launch that inexperienced people do, because you don't know how to build a funnel, you don't know how to do the sales mechanics, you don't know how to think about that, whether it's B2B or B2C, and kind of like don't bring into consideration the entire context of, hey, this is actually a business. I think that is so important, because the thing that you have built is maybe like 20%, unless it's like exceptionally phenomenally good. It's like so good that you can't live without it, which is very unlikely that you have this like out of the go. So I think that is why, think about the boring stuff that you don't want to do but you must do, which is like learn how to do sales, learn how to do marketing, learn how to do product, learn how to do all of these things, or get partners, of course, like do these things together. But for me, this is like 75 to 80% of my time, and maybe a small chunk of that is XR and AI. And unfortunately, again, living in Germany, way too much paperwork. I mean, that's like 1%. That's just like for a few days, but I get that shit every single day. And again, this is not unique to XR. This is the same for any product launch, in any industry, especially for gaming. I mean, gaming is so brutal and competitive already. If you think that you will make it in XR gaming, which you are competing with gaming overall as well, um, it's just statistically so crazy unlikely to be happening, which is why I think going B2B is usually a good way to start. Unless you're like, I really don't want to do it. I'm happy to struggle and suffer and be only successful in 0.001%, but I really want to launch this game. But even this, you can actually launch a game much better if you have a strong audience, if you already have like a lot of fans, you have a good integrations, you have a good launch, and all of that, those type of things. And I think that is something that I needed to learn many times. I had so many failed launches. Probably will still have them, but I think like for me, like learning those as time grows, I think that helps me to just stay very consistent um, in XR. I mean, like just very honest. Like we are also affected by the meta changes. Like of course, like Meta has been our lead sponsor the last couple of years, and there's of course like we feel these ups and downs a lot. Many of my partners are not there anymore, which is super sad. But the interesting part is I had this for the last 4 years of working with Meta, so it's not even different for me, to be honest. Which is why I think like also learning how to build relationships across other industries is so helpful as well. Cool. All right. The last thing that I want to talk about is, and I feel also a lot that this is a like a big picture fundamental thing. Doesn't have to do anything with XR or AI or technology, not even business. It's like even one layer below all of those type of things. And I think right now this stream is the perfect example of this, which is staying consistent and not giving up, especially in XR. many of us, we have so many setbacks. Again, I probably had like dozens of setbacks and failures. I mean, you don't want to know how many fucking courses I launched over the many years, how many different business models we had, how many different types of customers we had, how many different pivots we had. It's insane. Before now, we're really like getting really strong product market fits for a couple of years with the hackathons and the events and the community, all of those things. We have failed so many times. Maybe I will make a dedicated session about this. Even before I had this company, I had a HoloLens company in freaking 2016, 2017, which is crazy to think about that. Even that failed horribly because personal reasons. I don't want to go into too much detail about that. But showing up consistently is the single biggest contributor to any type of success, because it's kind of like you cannot fail if you don't give up. Like that's at least how I see it. It's the same for the streamer. Like I didn't feel too much like doing the stream, to be honest, because it's like I just came from the gym. We just came from a travel. We went to Aurea Awards. Very cool. If anybody watching, shout outs. Amazing conference. Yeah, Olaf, you were there. So good time there and a bunch of other partners. But yeah, we just had a lot of travel like the last couple of weeks. Feel exhausted, blah blah blah. But these are all excuses. I mean, I said I will show up, so I do show up, and I think that is kind of the one thing that you just keep trying, you just keep pushing, you keep improving. Our number one company philosophy, like the highest value at Immersive Insiders, it's called BTY. It's better than yesterday. Um, which is anything you do, like especially these streets right now. I'm kind of like at level 0 again on purpose, like pushing my comfort zone like crazy, at level 0 again. And then you will see in a few months like how this gets better and better and better and better. It's really cool for all of you guys watching right now because you kind of see, okay, me doing something completely new, completely at like level 0. Very like, okay, let's see how this grows. And then you hopefully see the BTY every single probably month. Like every month, I have a bunch of ideas on how I want to make this really good, and I've really good feeling on this, to be honest. So that is something. If you like based on first principles, believe in something. XR again, like the benefits of this is like so clear. The savings, especially in B2B, again, I think that is like where it's a no brainer. If you just like keep showing up and just pushing, talking to people, talking to partners, making small projects, showing your learnings, building your audience, like doing all of those things and going to network opportunities, all of those things, then it's like impossible for you, pretty much impossible for you not to succeed. And yeah, that is really what I see in anything, of course. This is the same for fitness or whatever you want to talk about. And yeah, so really, hopefully that sprinkles some optimism, but also like realistic expectations and some realism into your brain on the state of XR. Pretty sure you got this. There's too much good stuff happening. Again, I've signed a bunch of NDAs, so I'm not allowed to talk about this, and I won't. But I can just say that a lot of big companies are cooking. I'm not gonna say what they are cooking, but they are cooking for sure, and it's gonna be very exciting. So yeah, with that, thank you so much for staying here. If there's one single thing I would ask you of is share this with a friend, share this with your colleagues, share this with somebody. That's the only way this show grows. I still say show, I don't have a name yet, but that's the only way this here grows. And I can do more of those, higher production value. I can invite even cooler partners in the future. I can do this more regularly, and I kind of see, okay, this is working if kind of like the interest is there. Of course, you watching, always welcome to have you join us. And thank you so much for your support. And again, like, would mean the world for me if you share this with somebody you think this is valuable as well. Cool. All right. So with that, I am going to open for Q&A. Feel free to throw everything that you had already, and then I'm going to take a bunch of questions and then enjoy the rest of the weekend. Let's see. Are you using AI to help to create any virtual spaces? Oh yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the thing is, I personally, I haven't built any virtual spaces for a long time. Very, very honest here. My developers, maybe they are like using some tools to leverage this, but I don't really know because I haven't built this myself. But I'm pretty sure that they are very good Gen AI tools to assist creating virtual spaces. So I think even inside of Unity, to be honest. So I think that is a good case to explore by yourself and see how this works for you. Oh, good question. Which smart glasses do you want to work with? Um, Honestly, all of them. All of the kind of like major tech companies, of course, Meta, Google, Snap, Pico. I think it's super, super interesting because they're kind of like on the forefront. Um, there are a bunch of others as well, like Ray Neo. I think it's might be interesting. I tried it out a couple of weeks ago. HTC also launched their AI glasses, so I think like every company will now throw their own version of that. And I want to like, I mean, I would prefer the one that is most flexible. I don't want to be baked into a specific ecosystem. I want to use my own LLM. I want to have it on edge AI, which means have it locally in the device, just for a bunch of reasons, of course. So honestly, the one glass that will win my heart is going to be the one that is flexible, allows me to do it on device, so it's like self-contained, and it doesn't look completely bad. But I think that's not super important to me. Like it doesn't have to be like 1 gram, and it actually works because many of them are still like kind of like not fully polished yet. And nice photo, by the way. How do you respond to a person outside of the XR industry and they say XR is dead because they heard? Oh yeah, good question. I mean, first of all, maybe it doesn't maybe it doesn't really matter. Like they can say whatever the fuck they want. Like maybe you don't need to respond to that person. If you want to do that, you can show them my video. But otherwise you can be like, yeah, you're right. Like if it really like doesn't matter. If it's a client that you want to convince, etc., etc., I think honestly, if you show them these case studies and if you tell them, hey, listen, Meta is not representative of the entire industry. There are other big players also coming, and that if you tell them that Meta is just cutting a little bit of their mega budget, they're like still the biggest investment of all companies in XR. So I think like those type of things, just giving a little bit of clarification, stuff that I talked about here will be helpful already. But if it's not a client, then I think there's not really a need to be convincing them. Uh, what Gen AI tools do you use in general? I mean, mostly Claude for any type of stuff, to be honest. I'm a big fan of Ocean AI, even though it's not really Gen AI, but still. And otherwise, I think not too much. I mean, I'm not building too many Gen AI type of things, to be honest. But if I build something, then it's often with Claude. Lovable Replit are pretty good for the if I want to build apps, and I think that's pretty much about it. So let's watch what small and big companies are cooking. Oh yeah, they are. Cool XR solutions and make useful projects for our customers. Yes, 100%. Liked it better than yesterday principle. Yes, this might be a tattoo sometime in the future. Let's see. But yeah, BTY, we have it like every weekly for everything we do in the company. It's like very, very deep integrated into those type of things. So yeah, thank you so much. All right, my friends. I think that's about it. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Always nice to see you. Again, tune in next week. I'm gonna talk about some interesting stuff. Of course, if you already now listening, you wanna let me give me some suggestions. I'm very open to that. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, can definitely do that. Otherwise, I will see you next week and have a wonderful weekend and enjoy this Sunday. Alrighty. Bye bye.